Good afternoon. This is Chris with Westside Technology Solutions. Today, I'm talking about another founder story. So in these founder stories, what I like to do is I kind of reflect back on my experience as a small business owner and think about a problem I had or have, and then talk about how I worked through it and came up with a solution. The topic today is onboarding new clients and pricing. This was one of the things I had a really hard time with when I started my business, especially the pricing. I just did not know how much to charge. I found a lot of times what I was doing is I was spending a lot of time with potential customers or leads and then trying to figure out a detailed plan of what it would take to accomplish their goals, putting it together, and then basically giving it to them with a quote and then not hearing back because um, either it didn't end up being a good fit or they took the plan and then did it themselves. Both of those did happen to me. So, taking all this into account, I worked really hard on coming up with a system that would help alleviate some of these issues for me and help me succeed while spending an appropriate amount of time on leads. And then, if somebody wants to move forward, then things can get a little bit more specific. So the first thing I did was I tried to qualify a lead. I actually created a guide for myself. I'm not going to share it on screen, but I will kind of go through it and give an overview. And I tried to come up with things that make leads compatible with my services. So I have a list of 9 things, and these are all things I try to gauge in my initial consultation with a lead. The most important one being a real business need. The lead has a genuine business need for the custom software or consulting in question. They're not just exploring options, but have identified a solution that can significantly benefit their business. And then the second most important is a realistic budget. They have a budget that aligns with the complexity and scope of the project. Realistic budget expectations are crucial for a successful collaboration. There's a list of 7 more. They're ordered by importance, and I go through these and try to get a sense of how compatible my services might be with this person's needs. Then the next thing I do is I try to create a quote right on the spot. It's not super detailed, it's not an exact price, but I did create a system where I could get a rough estimate of what that range might be as well as a timeline. So then I have a list of things that I need to ask about, that I need to know in order to be able to do this. It's a pretty long list here. And as I'm learning about the project, I can get a better understanding of how to classify this. So I would go and I would ask a bunch of questions. And then finally, to finally get that range of price and time, I actually created a classification system. It's a point system. And basically, I have points 1 through 6, 1 being the simplest, 6 being the most complex. And then basically 1 includes this many features, X amount of features. An example project 401, which would be like a single page website, a static site, or maybe a simple script or something. And then the base price would be, between X and Y, and the time estimate is between X and Y, like 1 to 2 weeks or something like that. Then the next point up is a 2, and it's a little bit more complex. The price is a little bit higher, the turnaround is a little bit longer, the features are a little bit bigger, and then in my guide, I also detail the difference between the tiers. So I've got a 6-point system, and what I try to do with the lead is I try to classify their needs into one of those points. That way, I can give them a quote right on the spot. I can tell them, hey, your base price range is looking between here and here, and this is probably about how long it will take me. And then while I'm learning about their project, I'm also keeping in mind any add-ons that they might need. Maybe UX UI design, a custom graphic design, SEO configuration, content migration, custom domain setup, hosting, SSL certificate, data migration, like so many different things. So I'm trying to keep all of this in mind to get them an idea on the spot. That way they have an idea of what my services will cost. And then I'm not spending a bunch of time creating a custom plan just for them right on the spot, and then maybe losing out on that time if I'm not the right fit. So then basically, if the quote sounds good, I'll ask for a deposit, and then that's when we'll go into like way more detail. We'll create user stories and acceptance criteria. I'll come up with a more specific schedule and a more specific price as well. And then the project will start from there. This was definitely something I did not anticipate as a small business owner. I definitely should have, but this is my first time running my own business, so I didn't really know what I didn't know. It was definitely a struggle in the beginning, but I put a lot of thought into it, and I'm really happy with how this system turned out. In the end, it saved me a lot of time and headache. What are you struggling with your small business? Leave a comment below and let me know. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.